talking about resilience, of course, one of the most resilient crops is the barley. And barley is the first stage before we produce the malt that we use to produce finally the beer. So, good morning, everyone. Thank you for the opportunity to be here with you today. My name is Vasileios Kotoulas. I'm working for Heineken Greece. The name of the company is Athenian Brewery. I have made a very serious marketing fault. I have not included one slide with brands of the companies, so I will say that Athenian Brewery has the 50+% of market share of Greece, and the main brands are Heineken, Amstel, Fisher, international brands, and local brands like Alpha, #1 beer in Greece, Mamos, and recently very well-known beer in Thessaloniki, Nymphi. I will try to take you through, in the next minutes, through our local barley, local sourcing program. My background is agronomy, and some figures about our program. We work together, not directly with 2,000 farmers because we would need 2,000 contracts each year, but via cooperatives or traders, finally with 2,000 more plus farmers. About 15,000 of hectares are cultivated to produce 50 to 60,000 tons of malting barley that we need on a yearly basis for our needs or possible malt exports. Since 2008, which we established the program, more than 600,000 tons of barley were absorbed by our company, and 800 new jobs were created, mainly in the agricultural sector. Research was conducted 3 years ago about the social return, social return on investment of the program. The figure is not shown here, is 2.43, meaning that for each euro that Athenian company spends for the needs of the program, 2.43 euros are produced as a social value for the human, for the local societies, and for the environment. Now, our vision, when we designed this program, our vision was clearly aligned with Heineken's global goals. We wanted to create a sustainable, fully local supply chain for malting barley in Greece. This means sourcing barley from Greek farmers, processing it into malt in our own malt houses, and then use the malt in our breweries to produce our brands. But our goal went far beyond, I would say, logistics. We saw this as an opportunity to strengthen our connection with Greek communities, to support the rural economy, and to bring to life the idea of a Greek product made from Greek land. And this is not the barley, but the Greek malt. At the same time, this vision supports, of course, the cost efficiency and supply security. By reducing reliance on imports and building long-term relationships with local growers, we think, and we believe that we create a more resilient value chain, one that benefits everyone involved in. Now, of course, we faced some challenges. First, we have to introduce, malting barley is barley with some extra quality characteristics. So, first we have to introduce malting barley to Greek farmers, a crop which traditionally is grown in Greece. Second, we sought to achieve 100% of sourcing for our beer production. And today, since 2014, as we will see in the next slide, we produce our beers using 100% Greek barley. And third, of course, to build long-term and trust-based partnerships with local communities. This is my favorite slide with my favorite stairway to heaven. Because I say to heaven because we hope the next years to add more steps in this stairway. We launched this program in 2008. We begin to work together with Agricultural University of Athens in 2011 in order to evaluate the most appropriate, the most adapted varieties. In 2014, we managed to achieve our first goal, which was 100% local barley for our beers. In 2015, we carried out some training seminars for our farmers all over the Greece. In 2018, we launched our sustainable farming protocol. And 4 years ago, our strategy to drop the C in agricultural trials, this is something that I will try to deep dive a bit in the next slides. And from 2013, a very challenging project to introduce digital farming in our farmers. So, I presented you the milestones, and now I'm gonna say about the 5 basic key pillars of the program. I say again the Greek origin of barley of our beers, for our beers. Since 2023, we have managed to purchase more than 88% of sustainable barley. We are in progress to prepare an alternative proposal for barley cultivation, reducing the greenhouse gas emissions, but at the same time keep the profitability of the farmer at the same levels, because it's absolutely well known we cannot have environmental sustainability without financial sustainability. And we're still working on breeding new varieties, private varieties. 2 of them, Rea and Alkyoni, are already registered in the Greek catalog of varieties, trying at the same time to further expand digital farming and new technologies. Well, our success would not be possible without the collaboration with research institutes. We work since 2011 with Agricultural University of Athens to evaluate commercial varieties. The center of malting barley varieties is in the Central Europe, mostly France and Germany. They're great varieties, but not for all the climates of the world. So we pick some varieties each year and we evaluate them under Greek conditions. Finally, we promote those that they have, of course, the quality characteristics, but also high-yielded varieties for the farmer. We have managed since 2011 to increase the yield of the barley about 50%, from 4 tons and something, 4 plus per hectare, to more than 6 tons per hectare 10 years later on, by picking the proper genetic material. These results are coming from trials, are not from commercial fields all over the Greece. And the difference is, you see, of course, the fluctuation because climate conditions are changing, weather conditions change year by year, but the trend, I think it's clear. Picking the right genetic material, you can rapidly improve the yield. So, enarchinosporos, we say in Greek, meaning that in the beginning was the seed, and this is why we started from here. In addition, and on top of this project, it's not in this slide, we have a breeding program, as I mentioned before, because even the best varieties and the well-adapted varieties, they cannot give the 100% of their potential under these conditions, because they are breeded for other climates, as I said before. So We have crossed commercial, high-quality malting barley varieties with local varieties, not only from Greece but all over the world. And we have managed to, the crosses, the lines, the breeding lines were evaluated under Greek conditions, and we have managed to produce 2 new private malting barley varieties. Now they are in the stage of multiplication as a pre-basic seed. This is a big challenge. Digital agriculture is of course the future, but also the big challenge. You know, farmers are not at all familiar with these technologies. This system we have prepared, it's a new collaboration with Agricultural University, another team of the Agricultural University of Athens again. We have prepared a digital platform which allows farmers to monitor the crops in real time from sowing to harvest and receive targeted advice on fertilization, but also on how they can potentially reduce the CO2 in barley growing. Of course, it's a win-win situation. The platform supports also our goals. It gives us access to detailed data, including sowing dates, fertilization history, and yield estimates, improving traceability, supply planning, and sustainability reporting. More importantly, we can now calculate environmental indicators like CO2 emissions and water use per crop. It's also important to say about our training seminars. Since 2014, we have managed to organize 10 seminars in several agricultural areas of Greece, like Thessaloniki, Larissa, Livadia, Almiros, Pharsala, and Xanthi, with more than 500 of participants, farmers, cooperative members, and agronomists. They were trained in objectives like new varieties, like growing practices with nutrition management, digital farming, safe use of agrochemicals, and sustainable agriculture. Of course, the trainers were educational organizations like American Farm School, professors and researchers, associations, consultants, and certification bodies. Now, let's look the tangible results from a commercial standpoint. Since 2018, we have managed to export more than 45,000 tons of malt. This would not be possible without local sourcing.
What is malt?
What is?
Malt.
Malt. Malt is the next stage of the barley and before the beer. You have to, you have to produce first the malt, and then it's the raw material for beer. And barley is the raw material for malt. Yeah. I think that if I would say in an audience 15 years ago that Greece will export 7,000 tons of malt in Austria, it would be a joke. The value of this is more than 25 million euro, and I think that it highlights the economic viability of the program for both the company and for the farmers. Farmers benefit from the guaranteed prices and secure offtake, of course, and the brewery secures consistent quality and traceable supply. This is the evolution of sustainability protocol, starting from crop 2019 and finally in crop 2023 and now on. We purchased more than 98% of sustainable barley according to this protocol, which is benchmarked to SAI, an international organization, and of course there are external auditors for independent auditors to carry out the audits. Now, the most recent big project is Drop the C in agriculture. In this graph, you see the carbon emissions of Heineken per life cycle stage, you see that the second most significant is agriculture, representing the 19% of the total carbon emissions. The first one is packaging materials. And on the right, you see the targets of our organization: net zero carbon production emissions by 2030, net zero value chain emissions by 2040, quite challenging, and reduction of emissions in agriculture by 30% by 2030. So it is very well known, it is very well known that fertilizers are essential for cereal production, but at the same time, they come with a high environmental cost. The main issue is the nitrous oxide, who has 265 times the global warming potential of CO2. In traditional farming system, nitrogen is often overapplied, leading to both economic inefficiency and significant emissions. In fact, studies show that the nitrogen fertilizers can account for up to 70% in some cases of total greenhouse gas emissions from cereal crops. Not only the application, but including also the production of fertilizers. Our challenge is to optimize nitrogen to find the balance where we maximize the performance of the crop while minimizing the environmental impact. What is the hypothesis of the project Drop the C in Agriculture? Can we replace split nitrogen, which is the dominant practice, with a single application of control of CRFs? The idea is to provide all the nitrogen crop needs at planting, but in a form that's released gradually and over time. For this purpose, field experiments, we have data for rice, for maize, but poor data, or I would say no data, in Greece for sure no data, for barley. So we decided to apply, to carry out two trials in 2023 and 2024. Two trials, one in Levadia, southern Greece, and one in Larissa, central Greece, to evaluate a new practice, a new proposal. We have 4 treatments, N0, no nitrogen fertilizer. This is not a treatment in order to propose no nitrogen fertilizer, it's just as a control, just to see the nitrogen, the residual nitrogen of the soil. The control, which is the farmer's conventional fertilization practice, applying 116 kilograms nitrogen per hectare in a split application with common sulfur urea mainly used for top dressing during the early stem elongation phase. And the one-go application, which was our proposal, a single basal application using a blended control CRF, delivering a total 70 to 80 kilograms of nitrogen per hectare. The type was 60%, the mixture was 60% of an NPK, you see there, and 40% of Agromaster with 2 to 3 months release period. And the second treatment was to use nitro, top dressing at early stem elongation phase with ammonium sulfate instead of common sulfur urea, providing a total of 70 to 80 kilograms nitrogen per hectare. This is the results from the first year of trials. Regarding the yield of the barley, we see that the one-go is quite competitive to the control and a slightly higher yield, also higher yield from the nitro. The other treatment, we don't have, again, to take into account the N0 application. In Livadia, in Larissa, more or less similar results. Again, one-go is very high, higher than the control, even higher from nitro application. So the first year was the results was quite impressive, I would say. Regarding the carbon footprint, we have managed to reduce in percentages from 2022 to more than 30% in one go, especially one go application, especially in Larissa is around 35%. So two goals were achieved, the yield and the CO2 footprint, but let's see what happened with the most critical one, which is the profitability of the farmer. Again, the profitability of the farmer, we don't see, say again, N0 treatment. One Go and Nitro are quite competitive compared to the control in Livadia, and even better in Larissa. And I think this is the final picture that we have to take with us. We have a second trial next year with more or less the same treatments. We just added a second One Go treatment because we saw a slightly, I would say, low proteins in One Go treatment in the first year. So we mixture 32% of Agromaster with 2 to 3 months release period, and the 8% of Agromaster 3 to 4 months release period. Results impressively are more or less stable. Again, and take into account that the 2 years have absolutely different weather conditions. In 2024, the crop, the spring was quite dry and the yields were very low, and the 2025 crop, this crop, the current crop, we have many rainfalls, a very mild and cold, I would say, spring, high yield potential, and you expect this as a challenge for the One Go application. A big challenge was this year, not the previous one. We see that the results are similar. In Livadia, again, One Go is better than the control, and in Larissa, One Go One is very close to the control and slightly better. Now, in terms of finance, One Go in Livadia is better than the control. Almost zero was the profit due to the low yield. Better for One Go One and One Go Two, and in Larissa, it was slightly lower, the net profit of the farmer, but still competitive. I don't have results about the CO2. We didn't have the time to process the data, but we expect to be 30 to 35% lower by using the One Go strategy. Finally, some conclusions. Although we have a 34 reduction in the nitrogen rate, did not result in yield penalties or decrease in grain size, but a negative impact on grain protein coded. This is why we decided to apply a second treatment with One Go 2. One Go consistently delivered higher or similar grain yield compared to control. In 50% of the experiments, applying One Go resulted in higher net profit compared to the control. One Go during 23-24 presented a more balanced grain protein content under conditions that typically promote high protein concentration. It's not desirable for malting barley. We want balanced or low protein level. And in this point, I have to say that the benefits of One Go may have been underestimated, as our analysis did not account for the social and financial aspects associated with traditional fertilization practices. These include the challenges of managing the limited time window. When we have to apply the top dress fertilizer, we have a very limited time window because we expect for the rains. We don't want a lot of rains. We want it's a very narrow window. And also we have not taken into account the additional fuel consumption required for multiple trips between the farms during the traditional fertilizers application. You know, the farms in Greece are very small. Each farmer might have 10, 20, 100, in some cases 300 parcels, pieces. I think the record is 300 and something in Kilkis. And of course, the cost per unit of nitrogen in one go is, this is one restriction, is always higher compared to that of the traditional fertilization. This is from my side, and thank you again for the invitation.